That was nice and refreshing. I mean, really, I mentioned to you before the show here in LA, it's getting warm. Like we're going to hit the 80s, possibly 90s. So to see all
Yeah.
that snow and cold, it looks so nice.
Oh my. Well, I have invited you a couple of times to go on holiday with me, but
Yes,
every
I have.
time you seem to get pulled into like you've got an art project. I
Yeah,
don't think you would, I was in Mexico. I don't think it was warm.
really.
I don't think you would have enjoyed it.
I don't know. How warm was it?
It was like 80s. But if I ever go Nordic, if I ever go to that part of the world and we're filming, I'll take you with me. And
Okay.
then you can experience some of the cold.
And I
I
can
was
book
in
more ahead
Sweden.
too.
I was in Sweden and it was supposed to be a 10-day trip. Is that right? How long was the trip going to be? I can't
I think it was
remember.
roughly 10 days. 10 days.
Yes, I spent 5 of it with the Norwalk virus.
That sucks.
I was so sick in the hotel that they almost called an ambulance.
Oh my God. I didn't know it was
Yeah.
that bad. I knew you were sick on your
It was
trip.
bad. So that was not much of a vacation. But
No, not at
anyway,
all. No.
so you guys got some rain and hopefully everything spooky going on in California
Mhm.
has ended. Is that right?
Well, for its time being, no fires that I am aware of. But who knows? Certainly the Santa Anas are going to come back. It can get dry again. Summertime is traditionally fire season. So
Oh, wow.
we want to hope for the best. I don't want to put bad energy out there, but it was just very rare to have that happen in January
Yes.
because it was so exceedingly dry. You remember when you used to live here, that
Mhm.
used to be our peak rainy season.
Yes. So
Yeah.
what is going on now? I know you guys dumped a bunch of water. Oh, there's your
There she is. Yeah.
Gila is passed out sleeping. I don't want to bother her. I think the problem is she sleeps at 5 and she wakes up at 7 or 8 and gets frisky. So unfortunately, she's never awake during Taco Tuesday.
Well, Sasha usually sleeps, but for some reason, 10 minutes before showtime, she comes alive. And
Oh
then I have to
wow!
deal with her walking across the couch. And
But that's okay. People like her.
2 weeks ago, I had to hold her to keep her from jumping on the keyboard and abruptly ending our show,
Oh wow!
or at least my part of the show. It would have cut me off.
Right. So
Yeah.
listen, who is with us today? Let's go ahead and
Well,
turn
let
the
me
camera around
see
and say
here.
hi to everybody who
With
has.
the old romper room magic mirror here, I see Valerie and Laura and Elizabeth. Oh, and our Joel Tilson. Hi, Joel. Thank you. Desiree and Wendy and Anne. Let's see. Debbie, Joel. I'm trying not to repeat names here. And Galactic Gale. I
Oh,
love
I
that
like
one.
that name.
I do too. Terry, Denise. That's who we have with us so far here.
And
So,
we have the amazing Joel Tilson, and you know
yeah,
who Joel is, right? He
of
is our
course I
official
do.
floor director.
Yeah.
So,
Merritt just joined us. Yeah.
so for people who don't know, this is our Taco Tuesdays. This is where we hang out and we have drinks. For those of you who cannot wait until Friday to have a happy hour, there's always Tuesday. I see the light is hitting, and I could just see like
Mhm.
it almost looked like a Hitchcock version of your cat.
Yes.
Dun-dun, dun-dun.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, so I don't know what everybody is eating or drinking, or if everybody has checked out our merch. We have amazing merch.
yes.
Chuck is advertising there beautifully, which is a great way to support the channel. All beautifully designed by the amazing
Look at that.
Debbie Brady,
Isn't that
creative
beautiful?
director extraordinaire.
Yeah.
Mm.
And believe it or not, I'm just drinking water right now.
You just
Plain water. And
Oh my
I guess
goodness.
we're
No
showing
tequila for
merchandise.
you.
I guess we have to show all the merchandise, right?
Oh, I'll be in your neck of the wood. Probably around April. We're doing a photo shoot, and
Yeah.
then it might be nice. We could maybe do tacos.
I would love it. Wouldn't it be great if we did Taco Tuesdays from an actual taco place?
Well, I'm wondering about the sound. Wouldn't it be disastrous though? Well, we'd have to. It'd be.
I don't know unless we could plan it out beforehand.
Yeah, I think it could be fun. Or we could pick up the tacos and then Well, we'll probably do it at our hotel or something like that.
Yeah,
Was that hotel okay for you that we were?
that was great.
Yeah, I
We
thought it
had
was
fun.
okay. I couldn't get you in the water though. He was like, what'd you say? You said you wanted to wait until you had your bikini body or something.
Well, yeah, I wanted to be in a little better shape.
I think it was because he didn't have his sunscreen because man, I know that I was like, what was the temperature like when we were there? We shot in August.
I think it was something close to hell. Hades. It
Right.
was
Well,
very hot.
this
We
time
were
of
miserable.
in April, I'll probably be going to Israel.
Yeah,
And so I have a stopover in LA because LA has direct flights to Israel.
I'm looking
And
forward
then we
to
can
it.
do our photo shoot and that sort
Oh,
of thing.
we in spite of all the chaos we had a lot of fun also. It
Yeah,
was
we
really
did.
good.
Well, you and I eat well. He
Mhm.
and I like are big into food, so we hit the
Yes,
barbecue.
we
Oh,
did.
and we'll make sure to do a movie review. People
Yeah,
asked us to do more movie reviews,
I'd love to do that.
but we have to be together to do it, I
Well,
think.
sure we do.
So
So
we can throw popcorn at the screen.
we'll pick a movie. But the last year, as we love to joke about it,
People loved it, and then we
we
never did it again.
we
I
did
don't know,
Korea.
but
We did.
We will. When I see him in April, we will have dinner like we did last time, and then we'll do a thorough review. What do you think?
I think it'll be great. But I mean, I was going to say last time we did Korean barbecue, and then 30 minutes later went to see the Barbie movie.
Yeah,
Barbecue and Barbie.
I don't want to rush dinner though, like we
No,
did
we won't
last time.
rush.
We had like 30, 40 minutes
We
to
had
eat, and it was
fun.
all you can eat barbecue and 2 drinks or something like that.
And
And
you know what else? It was the first time we had ever done the show, not split screen, but actually sitting together live.
yeah,
And
it went really well.
and I
So
think we were
yeah.
both a little I had a wine cooler and I forget what you had, but I think we were both a little just a little under the influence. We did the show. It was a good show.
I think I was, I think I had a beer, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, a
Yeah.
Heineken. Yes, I
Heineken.
remember.
Okay.
Yes, I had 2 Heinekens.
It was
Yes.
fun.
Because it was the only thing, it was the only Pilsner that we could find was Heineken.
Yeah.
So listen, have you been keeping up with the news? Let's talk about this. Everybody, if you could like and subscribe. I'm trying to get a good screen that, that looks not too bad, but I
Not
want
too
people to be
bad.
able to see everything. I guess that's the best.
Yeah.
So what are you thinking, my friend? What do you think about, oh, that looks pretty good. Fired federal workers hunting for new jobs, the struggle to replace their old ones. Do you think that, what's the latest, your opinion about Dodgy, Elon Musk? Do you think, look, I don't think this is sustainable. I told
hope
you
not.
folks, I think the courts are going to come in. Also, I think Congress is going to come in, and I'm telling you, this is increasingly looking. By the way, he's going to be at the cabinet meeting tomorrow.
I was going to say that. I was going to mention it.
You want to say anything? Go ahead.
Well, I don't have too much to add to that, but it was like 15 minutes before we were going to do our pre-show. I was just doing a run through some of the news stories, and I thought, tomorrow is going to be Trump's first official cabinet meeting. All the clowns are going to gather around the desk, all the incompetents, and Elon Musk is going to be there. Our unelected Elon Musk is going to be part of the cabinet meetings, apparently. I mean, it couldn't be more obvious. I think it's a co-presidency, or he is the president.
Do you think this is sustainable? Because I don't.
I hope to God, no. It just doesn't feel sustainable. It just feels like a massive disaster that is just brewing and brewing. And as you've said in your own readings, I think you said you see this going on certainly through March. It's going to still be the crap show, but April, something is going to come to head. I tend to agree with you there.
Yeah. Were you getting the same vibe?
Yes. It just, and I get that vibe. Just speaking with friends, as everybody knows, I work as your assistant. I make phone calls all over the country to your people. I hear this personally from people's frustration. I've been hearing it for a long time. I've been seeing the news. I'm sure you saw all the news coverage of the town hall meetings, all the outraged people. I'm sure you also saw Trump's poll numbers, Elon Musk's poll numbers. There is tremendous dissatisfaction in the country right now. And I just can't believe people are going to stand for this much longer. All this gaslighting, all this mass confusion. People are feeling assaulted.
Yeah. Now, my understanding, and people had asked, how is this any different than Clinton firing 370,000 workers during the Clinton administration. I would say the first thing is that it was the president and not an unelected person. And it
Sure.
wasn't done with such a desire to hurt people.
Well,
Going
exactly.
after veterans, and
Yeah. Didn't you say it was like about 300 people?
it was accordingly 340 to 370.
Yeah.
Some got hired back.
Yeah, but here we're talking about thousands and thousands of people, whole departments being eliminated, crucial departments. I understand a lot of IRS workers are going to be laid off, fired right before tax season. Can you imagine what a disaster that's going to be? Maybe that's the disaster you're seeing in April.
I mean, this is so hard for me to come to terms with. I'm having a hard time processing even what we're looking at.
Well, sure. And, there's nothing more terrifying than to have your livelihood threatened, your career, your ability to pay your bills, to have a roof over your head. And with people being fired right and left, I have members of my own family. They're worrying about their jobs right now who work, are federal workers. And then they're just saying nothing of all the millions of people in Social Security, Medicare. If that budget goes through, Mike Johnson's trying to put through.
They're saying that no Medicare until age 70.
Yeah.
I mean, no Social Security and Medicare until age 70. So that's similar to what happened in France. Because there are so many baby boomers right now that are getting Social Security, if they can say no Social Security until 70, they can save billions of dollars.
But what about people already?
What's going to happen?
But what about people already getting Social Security?
Well, then, so the question is, if you file now, would you theoretically be protected? And the answer is yes, because you've already filed. You're already in the system.
That's what I was wondering.
Which is what happened in France. People took to the streets and they had to honor those people that were already in the system.
Yeah.
So I don't plan on retiring until I'm 70 anyway. So for me, it doesn't really matter. But
but for many, there were many their hearts set on this. They had long planned for this, retiring by a certain age. So it's like having the rug pulled out from under you. But it's just people in general that I talk to tell me they just feel assaulted right now.
Yes, and they can't live in I think also goes back to the thing where can you afford to live in America? People are always talking about, oh, you get rich, you run off to this country. No, we're saying that by moving to Guadalajara, to these quaint little expat communities, which often have their own security, like Puerto Vallarta, you're actually living far more affordably in a much better condition with affordable health care. And that's why people are leaving, because it's no longer affordable for the average person to live in the United States.
Yeah. The way things are going right now, I'm even wondering if they're going to start messing around with people trying to get passports, trying to leave the country. I mean, maybe that's so far-fetched, but it just seems like nothing is too outrageous right now. And did you see that today? It was just announced, I think 2 or 3 hours ago, about this gold card. Trump announced the selling of this for $5 million, a gold card. It's theoretically better than a green card. It's a gold card for millionaires and billionaires who live abroad who want to come to America to become citizens. They can buy this $5 million gold card.
Actually, most countries have that. If you're looking at, because I've been looking at immigrating to other countries, and they're like, okay, you want to move to Britain? Do you got 4 million? I mean, it's so that's actually.
I wasn't aware of that. Yeah. I didn't realize that.
If you're bringing your business, if you're a foreign company like Toyota and you're hiring Americans and you've got $1 billion and you're theoretically bringing business and helping the country, then yeah, it pays for itself. Okay. You're hiring employees.
Okay. I wasn't quite sure about that because it was just announced, I think 2 hours ago. It's like even the news commentators were saying, we don't know quite what to make of this.
Yeah. There's different opportunities for business people to work and do business in the United States. So who knows? Okay. Do you want to do the impasse prayer and maybe do some quizzes? Are we ready?
Go ahead. Look, Sasha wants to too.
Oh, I saw her.
Yeah.
Mila has passed out. Should I try and get Mila, even though she's passed
Well,
out?
it's up to you. Oh, Mila and Sasha have never met.
Yeah.
Look at her.
So let me
Sasha's
do.
saying, "Put me down."
Do you think that they? Let me see. People have been
Okay.
asking to see Mila.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen Mila in a long time. You know, folks, I used to cat sit for Mila when Whimsy lived here in Los Angeles. And you've told that story, Whimsy, of how Mila held me hostage once.
That's because Mila's in love with you.
Yeah, I came to feed her, spend a little time with her, stay about 45 minutes or so. She ran out the door. I'm like, no, no. And I couldn't find
And
her.
she leaped over a fence
Yes.
and
I
kept you
couldn't
there
find her
for 11. Was it
anywhere.
11 hours she held you?
It was something like that. I couldn't leave. And that's I think that's everybody's worst nightmare, when you're pet sitting for someone and you lose their pet. I thought, how am I going to tell Whimsy I lost her cat? And then sometime like 9 or 10 that night, I kept the door open and I was sitting on your couch, and then Mila just walked in like nothing had ever happened. Oh, hey, Mila. Aw.
Mila, there's your friend.
You're right. She does have a crush on me.
All right. Without further ado, we'll go ahead. We'll do the empath prayer, and then we will blitz away.
Okay.
I also wanted to make a special announcement. Chuck, who's in our studio at 6 o'clock?
Oh, who is in our studio? Well, Fran. Well, she goes by Fran, but on her book, she's F.L. Kaub, author of 1001 Nights, and we are going to interview her.
That's right.
In what, about 40 minutes?
That's right. I'm looking forward to it.
So
be sure and hang out till 6 o'clock, and you'll be able to meet F.L. Kaub, and we can talk about the book. We got all of the crazy sound stuff fixed. Also, next month we have a great book, The Wavelength.
I still haven't gotten my copy yet. But
Thank you. I've got to mail it. The Wavelength of Your Pure Intention by Michelle Rose LaRoche, and then Equality, Channeled Conversations for Manifesting Freedom and Acceptance of Self. It looks really, really good. I'm excited. I haven't started it yet. All right, let's go ahead and do it. Let's bring in the empath prayer. If you need to be prayed over, let us know your name or the person's name that you want us to pray for, and we can include them in our empath prayer. All right, let's come together.
Okay.
Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together collectively we say, Amen.
Amen.
All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of these interesting questions. Oh, hello, Mila. Thank you for the kiss. Mila's kissing my hair. That's very nice.
Yeah,
it's
Kitty Day on Taco Tuesdays.
Taiwan's Day. I'm having a huge reaction. I love you, sweetheart.
Well, all these cats around you, Whimsy.
Oh, I love her so much. But
Really,
yeah, she's giving me a reaction.
Oh.
Taiwan Navy captured Chinese vessel that was cutting a cable between. It looks like I've got ears. A Taiwan cable crew has been arrested. Do you know anything about this? Do you want to go ahead and just check?
No, I have to confess, I don't know about this. How did I miss that in the news? Was that in the news today?
Mm-hmm. Let's go ahead and check China's relationship with Taiwan.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and do a couple of cards on that.
No, what are we going to ask specifically?
Just if they're going to be able to resolve it, or if the tensions are going to escalate over the next couple months.
Well.
That cat's so cute.
Let's see here, because one card just came out right away. I think it says this. Well, you said just like a couple of cards.
Mhm.
Maybe these are a little too obvious here, but I got well, first I got competition, but then I got compromise.
Oh, wow.
Uh, decisions. Now, sometimes the cards don't mean exactly what they say. Partnerships and love, I wouldn't go that far, but partnerships like a working relationship, a teaming, joining together. So that's what I'm getting. I think that ties in with compromise.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
Taiwan, we don't recognize as a separate country, but a separate territory because Czech, how did you say his name? Wanted to he wanted
Chiang
to
Kai-shek.
he wanted to separate from Mao. So,
Yeah. I think that was in 1949, wasn't it?
yeah, sometime
Yeah.
around that. But what it feels like, and it was interesting that those were the cards you got, is it feels to me like extortion. We will
Yeah.
allow Taiwan to sell these goods and services to the West, but we are entitled. We want a fee if you're going to be taking it through Chinese waters. It's
Yeah.
almost like wanting to put Taiwan into a police state. That's what it feels like to me when I go
Well, and
into
also when you say a fee,
the trade.
yeah.
If we're going to be doing waters business in the Indochina waters, this has to do with a desire. They want to stop the trade. Chariot is to have movement or trade, and they, Nancy Pelosi really pissed Xi off when, world trade issues. Taiwan resents it. Like, no, we're not going to pay you an extortion. It looks to me like China almost wants to be the mafia. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
these cards are warring of the world and issues of blocking trade and hammering out some kind of trade deal by masters.
Yeah.
How can trade with Taiwan be profitable to China is ultimately the conversation that's going to avoid war.
Yeah. Yeah. But you're getting like me that at least some sort of agreement, some sort of partnership.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was getting. That's why I was saying
was this feeling pay us not to go to war with you.
That's why when I pulled that card, I knew it did not mean love, but I got that part where it said partnership, and I thought there's something there. So maybe that is.
Well, the mafia and the business that has to pay protection fees, it is a relationship. The question is, what does the mafia do for you if you're paying the mafia protection money? They would argue, oh, we're protecting you from other mobsters.
Right.
At
least if you watch enough gangster movies, that's the way it usually is with the mafia.
Right. Yeah. So basically, it gets resolved with some kind of way in which China wants to be profitable in the trade. That it always comes down to that. But they're never going to stop trying to take Taiwan. They can't let it go, and they need to let it go.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, it's been going on since 1949.
1949. Yeah. But someone was pointing out here that Taiwan has, it was Rose pointed out, Taiwan has too many natural, geographic, and weather protections to be invaded by China. That's something I didn't realize, but that's an interesting point. And I don't even know what like the ocean waters are like between China and Taiwan. It could be a very treacherous region. I'd have to look more into that. There's a reason Taiwan has stayed independent all these years. So what, 71 years, with China wanting it back so badly.
But also U.S. protections too.
That's a good point. But hey, where we are right now.
Same with Guam and all those areas where first it was Japan was threatening, now it's China's threatening. But
with the Trump administration, it's so volatile right now. They may not have that protection anymore.
Yes. Good point. Rose Blue says 33 states have recall options. Will the Republicans be recalled this year and or forced to resign by angry constituents? Any opinions about that, my love?
Well, on a personal level, that sounds fantastic. But whether that would happen?
Let's take a look
at the cards.
Yeah. Let's see what the cards say. House flips. Let's look at the possibility for house flips in 2025.
For 2025, house
Just
flips.
2025.
I'm getting a mixed bag here. I don't know if I'm getting a conclusive answer here, but I'm certainly getting things that are reflecting the discontent that's growing.
Let's see.
Because I'm get, I just get cards that are saying things like despair, loss, which is interesting, discontent, shame. Does that sound kind of familiar with what's going on right now? And then I noticed I got survival. Like some of these politicians just may be fighting for their very survival, whether it be now or it be in the midterms, but fighting for survival. And there's a shadow over them right now. Still a lot of denial. I think this means a lot of the constituents, a lot of the diehard MAGA people, Republicans, still in denial about what's really going on. And I got devotion, meaning a lot of them are going to stick with them no matter what. But finally, I had community, meaning all of us, the people, and a balance. Ultimately, there is going to be a balance. I don't know what that balance is, but there is going to be a balance. How does that tie in with what you're getting, Whimsy?
Well, it goes back to everything you said about balance. Lover's card reaching across the aisle would indicate balance or two-way. However, our opposition gets the job. Is there something happening in Tennessee? I see a Republican getting in Tennessee, a young Republican getting in for a special election somewhere like Tennessee.
I'm not sure about that. I was only aware, aren't there 2 seats in Florida up for grabs and a seat in New York?
Yeah, something's going on in Tennessee. Something's going to come up in Tennessee, but it won't have an impact.
Okay.
It was just something, a star and the 2 of Pentacles over 2 seats. So, and justice, the courts are coming in and Congress comes in to put a stop to it. All I can say is that it always feels to me like when you go into the energy of the Trump voter. By the way, it completely collapses in the next 2 to 3 weeks, the Trump support. It's over in 2 to 3 weeks. It's just a complete disaster in 2 to 3 weeks.
Interesting. But no, I didn't even think about that with scales of justice, balance, courts.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it just becomes increasingly obvious to Trump supporters, this guy, he's just not what he used to be. He's just, that's how we feel. He's just not what he used to be. And that Elon Musk, 20% support Elon. So that's 80% hate Elon Musk. So you
those eggs did not get any cheaper.
Those eggs did not, even though he's been fertilizing a bunch of eggs. I guess every time you turn around, there's another baby mama suing him. I'm trying to find you, Elon. The richest guy in the world. Why is he running from his baby's mama? I mean, like, how cheap is that? Give her a couple million and send her on her way.
I think it's going to really fall apart for Elon.
I do too.
Oh my God! What just the news? Some of the news pieces you sent to me about Europe, Tesla sales down 45%.
Can we talk a little bit about that? Because
they're boycotting the Tesla cars.
Elon's business model,
or some are calling them the swastika cars.
Oh God!
I saw that his stock, Tesla stock, is down 31%, and I didn't even realize this myself until I was reading the news today that most of Elon Musk's wealth is based upon his Tesla stock. And if that plummets, there goes a lot of the wealth. It's like those people, like those celebrities. I forget, who was it? Was it Puff Daddy? Sean Combs? Or who was it? Or Kanye West, who was worth like $1 billion. And then he made some anti-Semitic remarks and everybody dropped him off, his sponsors, his representation, and like 2/3 of his wealth, because it was all digital or
You
on
know what?
paper,
I've come,
disappeared overnight.
you know that I am of the Hebrew persuasion. I'm a nice Jewish girl.
Yes, you
I've
are.
come to believe that we're like leprechauns.
Yeah. Oh, my lucky stars, my lucky charms.
Yes, if you're nice to us, you get many blessings, right? Check, check. Jack has his own
Pink
personal little
hearts,
genie whimsy.
yellow moons, green clover.
Yes. But when you're mean to Jewish, it doesn't go
Mm-hmm.
well. So be nice
Mm-hmm.
to us, and then you get
Yes.
to have the blessings. But you want to throw cards on Elon's future? I don't think.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! That could be fun.
Okay, let's take a look. Let's take a look.
Oh, I'm laughing. The first card that jumped out, I haven't even looked at the other cards, but shame jumps right out.
Oof.
I shouldn't be laughing about that, but whew. Oh. Wow, it's interesting, some of these same cards coming out.
Yes, people are talking here about Social Security. We can get into that. Yeah, Philippines, you can survive.
Yeah.
You can live comfortably in the Philippines on $1,000 a month, but not in the U.S. Would be an example.
Whoa. Elon.
What you got going on there with Mr.
Well, let's see. Well, I told you that first card, shame.
Mhm.
But I had other cards like survival. He's going to be fighting for his very survival. Suffering. He's going to have restrictions placed upon him. Truth. A lot of truth is going to be coming to the surface. I got loss, discontent. But then I also had, because, you can't always push somebody down completely. I got cards like invention, creativity. He is resourceful, so he may resist some of this, but I also got there's a big shadow over him, and ultimately there's going to be a judgment. That was the last card.
Wow.
What do you have, my dear?
I get like there's a possibility that Elon Musk could be bailed out by other companies so that Tesla gets bought out by a younger company. It's almost like it. You know what Tesla looks like? It looks like a dinosaur next to new, exciting cars.
Some have pointed that out, like cars coming out of Korea, for example.
Yeah. So you have this Knight of Cups coming in, like we'll buy Tesla off you, but it's kind of like an old dinosaur. It's almost like somebody coming to bail him out.
It seems like that's still going to clip his wings. He's not going to be nearly as wealthy.
Yeah,
as he was, and that's where a lot of his power comes from.
Yeah, and Two of Pentacles back and forth with his finances. He's holding on to X, and X is just a money pit.
Oh, sure. X, I think, lost more than half of its value after he took it over. He paid what, $44 million for it. Now it's worth maybe 20. No, was it billion? No, billion. Excuse me,
Right.
44 billion, and now it's worth about 20 billion.
Well, he won't release who his investors are, so we don't even know whose money he used.
Yeah.
The other thing is that his own brother sold Tesla stock, and I think what they say, if it goes down 45%, it's bankrupted. And you said it was at what?
You mean his stock? I'm so sorry. I was looking at comments.
Yeah, if the stock goes down to 45%, they said.
Well, I saw that his stock was down presently at 31%. I think they were saying
that's really bad.
They said from end of December to February 24th, they said it had dropped 31%. And I had seen in one of the news stories that in Europe, Tesla sales are presently down 45%. There's a big, Yeah,
Then that is verging on bankruptcy.
well, that's sales in Europe, but the actual Tesla stock is down 31%.
The only way, you know how he's going to save himself is government contracts, forcing the government to buy his Teslas. That's what he's going to do.
Well, didn't he have a military contract?
He has tons of them. Makes $13 billion.
Yeah, but I mean specifically for his vehicles.
Well, for Tesla, but also I think Tesla is developing a robot that could be militarized, and I believe the other thing they're working on is the SpaceX stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's right. He still wants to colonize Mars. And some people are saying, fine, let's put Elon on a rocket and send
I
him
don't
there.
think we're going to colonize. They don't have a magnetic.
No, but I think sending Elon there is a good idea. I'm all for that.
Yeah, but you know what is a good idea is the stuff that Jeff Bezos is coming up, floating cities that you can evacuate to in the event of an emergency, which is affordable, that you would be able to jet out of orbit, say an asteroid hits or something, you could have it. That makes sense.
I'd like to read more about that. I'm not familiar with the floating cities.
The floating cities. We had predictions of it, and now they're developing it, which is kind of
Would these be in outer space?
Some are. It depends on what the what condo you buy. You know, depending on how big out you want to be in your rotation. You want to be closer to the Earth.
Yeah.
And if it has a rotation where it goes around the Earth every 3 months, every 6 months, you buy a condo, then theoretically you'd be able to go around the Earth several times a year, and then a shuttle would take you down to Paris to shop or whatnot. But we're very close to being there now with the science.
That could be fun.
Yeah, and each pod has their own cells, reusable cells. So if one tanks out, so it's not like the whole system is going to collapse and fall on top of someone's house.
That's a relief.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
But I would definitely do an Airbnb. Like, I don't know if I would want to buy one, but as a vacation option.
Yeah, a timeshare.
Oh yeah, absolutely, I would. Yeah, no problem.
In space. I mean, that has all
not
kinds
a
of
timeshare,
potential.
but I would want to do an Airbnb, like say, buy the condo that's closest to the Earth so that I could see the curvature of the Earth and rotate slowly, and then go down with the shuttle and see Indonesia, go down in the shuttle and see Paris. I hope I live long enough to be able to do it.
I was just
I would do it. Yeah, I think you would do it too, right? If you and I got free shuttle to one of these floating cities, wouldn't you go for like a week and do that?
I suppose so.
If it happens, I will get us tickets. How's that sound?
Okay, you're on.
I'm always trying to give him fun adventures so that he won't quit on me.
Well, I would never quit on you, Whimsy. Come on. But I have to admit that would be fun to do Taco Tuesdays from outer space.
You know what? This April, all we're doing is a photo shoot and tacos. But we can dream. We can dream.
We can dream.
Within my budget, I try to treat you right.
Okay.
All right. So listen, Joel Tilson has another question for us. He wants to know about future food shortages. Do you see a future where we're going to have food shortages because of global warming, trade disputes, etc., or are you more optimistic than that?
I'd like to say that I'm optimistic about that, but I think because of global warming, it's not impossible. There are a lot of areas where it may not be possible to grow food anymore to sustain it.
What about these large? What about the large domes now that they're constructing that can drop temperature? Have you seen some of those?
I haven't seen those. Tell me about those, please.
These are dome-like structures that can control for the ambient temperature. Yeah. So,
if those could be made affordable, that could be a viable solution.
Yeah, I'm trying. Hold on, I've got an X. You know that I was working on the peace proposal that I was building a peace proposal. You know about this, right?
Yeah.
And we talked about peace zones that would be eco-friendly, and some of them could theoretically be developed to be closed, depending upon the environment, as part of the Abraham Accords. And the subway system would be underneath, joining the peace communities. So underneath these structures is a subway system, and these little tiny things down there, those are just subway things. And
Mhm.
what you've got is this is a line. What they're lined up on is the 1950s armistice line between Israel and Gaza. And this is what these cities would look like.
Wow.
Some could be closed domed, which would also, some of these domes that they're developing, not only would it be closed policing, so you would never have to be afraid of crime if you got into one of these areas, but some of the new domes that the United Arab Emirates and Saudi are developing would also keep it permanently cool in some areas.
Ooh.
Yeah, so this
Very,
is
very nice.
part of the design for the new Gaza-Israel border that I've.
Is it already technically possible to build domes of that size?
Yes. Mhm.
What sort of material do they use? I'm sure it's not glass. It must be like acrylic or
I
something.
don't know. I would have to look at some of what's going on in Dubai, but
It would have to be something
yeah.
very durable that
Mhm.
couldn't easily be broken, shattered, or cracked.
Yeah.
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 It's almost like an ecosphere.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it would be like an amazing wonder, and people all over the world would come to Gaza. And then you think about the horrible things that happened in the tunnels, but in this vision, the tunnels are just these really cool subway systems that take you from one place to another, on this magic carpet ride of peace villages that go all the way
A
from
whole new world.
from Gaza to every country that's part of the
Yeah.
Abraham Accords. One
Oh,
peace tent after another.
it sounds beautiful.
Yeah, so if you develop something like that, which they will, then theoretically you would be able to control for ambient temperature and
Mhm.
yeah,
And
very
certainly for growing food, like,
not
a
the
way to counter
the whole thing wouldn't be,
global warming.
but yeah, there's very affordable and even thin uh, products that they're using in Israel, which can reflect some of the heat and hold in moisture when we're doing farming. Mhm.
Mm. That's when you mentioned moisture, would there be irrigation systems incorporated inside
Mhm.
this also? Yeah.
Yeah, I've been working on a lot of the ideas. I've been working with artificial intelligence to come up with just some of the overall design, walking cities. The other great thing about walking cities with like a main subway system is it gets people to integrate and talk and have cool places where they can hang out and get to know each other and fall in love and go shopping.
Mm.
And yeah, and you can see here another example of the future Gaza as it's seen going from one safe zone to another. As you can see those underground subways that people are walking into. I imagine also Elon Musk boring will be able to the loopy loop zoom, which will take you. So say the one on the left is focused more on business, and the one on the right would be more residential.
Uh-huh.
So you would also have this is depending upon what the people in that particular pod want to create for themselves. Yeah.
Yeah. It's exciting. And you had a working vacation. You were actually
I know.
working on this. I watched your show when you got back, and I thought you were going to talk about how you rested and you lay in the sun and you sipped
I
margaritas.
worked my ass
Yeah,
off.
it sounds that way.
I sent all of the mock-ups to the entire Arab, the Abraham Accords, and hopefully they'll pay me.
I hope so too.
And I got everything trademarked and stuff, so there was that too. So
Well, I hope you got something out of your vacation more rest-oriented,
the joy of knowing a job well done.
Okay.
There you go. All right, Dennis Fletcher Thoreau. How much is crime in the average American people is going to rise because of the government actions regarding jobs benefits being stopped? Do you, Chuck, see crime going up or going down as a result of these?
Just when you mentioned that, my immediate thought was when you have people unemployed, you have people with their benefits cut, less money. If you're cutting, I pray to God this doesn't happen, but if they like cut food benefits, SNAP benefits, Social Security, things like that. We're going to have a lot of people destitute. And typically when that happens, crime goes up. People get desperate.
Let's take a look and see if things are going to be okay. Because I don't want people worried if
Oh, no, we don't want to. Exactly.
If it's going to be resolved.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Shark Tank, going into business with small business is the way to get out of debt. And it helps more Americans come out of poverty. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Our Shark Tank programs.
I didn't shuffle my cards. So we're asking if this is going to be resolved.
Mm-hmm.
And did you want to put a time frame on that? Like,
in the next couple of months. I just want to see how employment's going to be, poverty in the next couple of months.
Ooh. Okay.
Hey, Mila, you want to come be with me? My kitty cat's down here.
Yeah, I finally got mine to go to the side here. As I've said before, one of the reasons I pick her up so much is to keep her from jumping onto the keyboard during the show. She knows what she's doing.
What do you got there, buddy?
Well, I think basing on what I'm getting, it's going to eventually be okay. But I'm getting these cards right now. It's pretty yucky right now, just for right now, because 2 months is not that much time. I think it's going to be better. But right now, I even wanted to shuffle the cards again because I was thought, oh God, I want to tell people these cards? But I got things like discontent. Discontent, I think that just reflects a lot of really angry people right now. Very frustrated, very discontent. Yes. But definitely fears about loss, fears around survival, despair, exhaustion, because as we've said, people are just exhausted. People feel hit over the head by all of this. It's too much. But then I started to get some more positive cards. I got to family, meaning all of us as a community, our blood family, our friends, our community, we're all going to stick together through this. And we're going to get to our priorities. And through that, eventually, and this is where it got positive, new life, new beginnings, and then victory and celebration. Eventually, it is going to be good. But as you saw from those first cards right now, it is just, shall we say it, a shit show right now. A lot of fear, a lot of confusion, a lot that's up in the air. Does that say it, Whimsy? Does that make sense?
I keep seeing the courts coming in. You can't fire these people. And then you get the Knight of Cups being the opposition, which is the smooth talker, and then concern about the job, and then walking away. A lot of people are retiring. And they were intending on retiring or leaving. And then I see rehires happening around August. I always see that. Overall, though, I see wealth coming to the country. The thing that's going to save America is the new green economy and green innovation. Empress.
Yeah.
Also, scholarship comes in the 7th house.
Yeah. It ties in with what we've been saying before with our readings. It's eventually going to be good. If anything, we're going to rise above all of this and be stronger and then better than before. But right now is a real turmoil to go through. That's what I was reading from the cards I had.
Yeah, I don't see it being sustainable. I never see it being sustainable. And I always see some major event happening in April.
Yeah.
And the courts coming in and possibly Congress coming in and stopping it. And we also have to take into consideration that there's civil war happening right now between MAGA and Elon Musk. And that's also not sustainable. To have that kind of tension between two factions of the Republican Party is not sustainable.
Well, the country largely hates Elon Musk. Did you see his poll numbers? It came out well. It came out the same time with Trump's disastrous poll numbers. Elon Musk, his disapproval is right down there in the basement. Also, people are very angry about him, and we even saw that in the town meetings.
Right. Yeah.
All meetings. But so I think that's going to contribute to Elon Musk's downfall. It was someone today, I think it was Mary Trump. I don't know if you ever listened to her
Yes.
show.
Yes, I do.
I love Mary Trump. And I think she was one who said, she was talking about this budget that's coming up possibly for a vote as early as tonight, even. But it's my understanding Mike Johnson still is shy of like 4 votes, 4 Republicans.
Oh, wow.
And she said that's one of the few things where Democrats still have some power and leverage and can make some demands. And she said one of the demands the Democrats should make is get rid of Elon. Out.
Oh,
Get rid
yeah.
of him. Yeah. She said the Democrats should use that for leverage right now.
This question coming in from Joel. Do you think that, what are you thinking for the New York Congress seat elections in March? There's 2 open seats in Florida. And did you feel like we had asked about that before, but did you get the impression that we were going to get any more Democratic seats out of that?
I think we'd have a better shot with New York. Florida, because it's such a red state. I think it's if enough Republicans get really pissed off, that might make the difference. But we need at least 2 seats. I think the Democrats need at least 2 seats to gain control of the House.
Let's take a look and see if Democrats take control of the House. Let's just do that.
Okay. Ooh. I hope I'm right on this. I don't even know if I want. Let me see if I'll pull another card.
I got that we did. So
well, anyway. Oh, you heard me go. Whoa.
Yeah, I got the same thing. Go ahead. Yeah.
That's what the card I pulled. That's why I would said.
Yeah, I got that.
I said, I hope I'm right on this.
We don't get suppression of votes, but we have King of Cups, the great mediator, a healing coming, hope and fears justice, and then dancing in the streets. 3 of Cups,
in fact,
yeah, go ahead.
I didn't want to interrupt you. I'm so sorry.
No, that was it.
Oh, I was going to say because isn't it in April when the elections are?
I don't know, but I just know that all hell hit. Everything goes crazy in April.
Well, I think,
but I will be with you in April, and then I'm flying to Israel after that. Oh my God! Like what am I, a masochist? I'm going to Israel.
Oh, that could be incredible. But I'm wondering if that's going to be what's going to happen in April. Because initially, at the beginning of the show, I said, well, all these IRS workers being fired, tax season April, that's going to be a disaster in itself. But the elections in April, the Democrat, and we both got our cards saying the Democrats are going to, at least at this time, it looks like they're going to regain the House.
3 of Cups is very good, dancing in the streets, and it's also victory card, like after World War II, when everybody danced in the streets. So it has a victorious kind of an aspect to it. Do we have time for one more? Elon uses ketamine. Yes. Future food riots. No, we did not see future food riots. That's going to be taken care of. Future supplemental income for lower wage workers. That is something that's gotten pushed a lot. And even Elon Musk has said that we have to have a supplemental wage. So probably that's going to have to happen. Well, we're starting with this idea of peace villages and people having some place that they'll always be able to live. But AI is phasing out everybody's job. So that's why you have to have minimum wage. That's true. That's true, actually.
It's doing it quickly.
When the jobs are gone, there's not much else you can do.
Yeah.
Well, did you have fun, my love?
I had fun. I missed you so much last Tuesday. We didn't do a show.
I missed me last Tuesday. I was running around doing. It was I was so passionate about getting these papers in and getting this
Mhm.
work done, and I sat by the pool. I was so obsessed with the news coming out on the Middle East that I was reading like
Mhm.
MBS and this
Yeah.
meeting that, and I was on one of these catamarans or something. And I went into the bathroom and threw up. But I was thrilled
Oh, just
because it was like they reject Trump's plan. I was like, yes, yes, yes.
yeah. I
And then
can't read either when I'm in a
but
moving
I'm
car or
like
boat or
this, and I'm like,
anything.
oh, and my friends were like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No, I'm actually pretty good."
Yeah. Just
But
had a
yeah.
nice little purge, you know?
So I didn't eat. I mean, like, my stomach was not good. But so instead, I drank tons of coffee like a neurotic woman, and just tons of coffee. Leave me alone. Are you gonna get into swimming pool? No, I'm not getting.
Oh,
And didn't eat. I had no appetite.
mm.
I know. I
My thing
know.
lately has been espresso.
Hmm.
I've been
What's that?
making too much espresso,
I
but I
I
love
I
it.
yeah, I love it too. Now, what are
Mhm.
you up to before we close today?
Oh, what am I up to?
What's going on with your work?
Uh,
Are you commissioned? Are you open to do any
oh,
portraits?
I am so open to commissions for doing portraits. I'm working on one right now, but the more the better. It's my passion, it's my love. I love doing portraits, and I love doing things specific for people for what they want. Like, I have someone who wants me to do a portrait of her mother, but she wants me to age progress her. She died when she was young, and she wants me to do a portrait as she would look today. And
Oh,
I always see that as my heartfelt honor when somebody
yeah.
entrusts me with something like that. So yes, yes, I am taking commissions, always taking commissions for portraits.
So
Uh,
if anyone would like to have a soul painting done connecting with the soul of somebody who has passed over, you can contact Chuck Dransfield at dransfieldchuck.
Chuck at gmail.com.
Yes, dransfieldchuck at gmail.com,
That's
and he
correct.
will do a spirit painting for
And I
you.
will put my heart and soul into it for you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, my next question to you is, what did you think of the book?
Oh my God, what a journey. What a journey. I mean, you always pick beautiful books every month, and it's always such a pleasure. We were going to interview her 2 weeks ago, and we were having
Right,
some
right.
technical issues, and we almost brought her on, but it was like there was so little time. And I always feel that an author deserves their full moment, their full half hour to really shine and
I
talk about
love
the
the
work.
I love this stuff. I can't wait to bring her on.
Yeah.
Please give a warm welcome, everyone, to the amazing FL Kalb. She is the author of our book of the month, A Thousand
Mhm.
and One Nights.
Yeah.
Hello, Miss FL.
Hello. Hi, Fran.
Hi,
Welcome.
everybody. How are you doing?
Welcome.
We're
Oh,
Thank
doing
you.
great.
wonderful. How are
It's
you?
wonderful to be here.
Well, it's just an honor to have you here.
Thank you.
Um, well, Whimsy and I loved your book,
I
and
hear water. I hear water running. Fran, is that you with water running?
No, no, it might be just in the
where
feed or something. I
could it
don't
be
know.
static or feedback?
Okay.
It's called live streaming.
Okay. Don't worry about it.
Mm.
Welcome. So I have a couple questions for you. Like, when did you finish this book, Fran? When did the book get finished?
In 2019, that's when I first published it, and it took probably, I'm going to say maybe about a year or so to for the whole process. That's the writing, all the editing, the formatting. I did a lot of research for this book because,
Hmm.
as you know,
One of the things I was going to ask you about.
it takes place in three different locations and a different timelines. You know, the past and the present goes from
Mhm.
1883 to the present day, and so I'm going to guess about a year or so for everything. You know,
That's quite remarkable to do something like this within a year.
yeah.
But is it something that you had been, because I often have projects that I will have on the back burner of the stove for years and years, like, oh yes, I want to do this. I take notes, I plan for it. Is this something that you had been planning for a long time?
Not really. I mean, sort of, probably in the back of my
Hmm.
mind, maybe, but not. and not in maybe subconsciously, it might have been
Yeah,
there somewhere.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. Um, but you base this on the 1001 Nights story. I wrote it down here. I hope I'm going to say it correctly. The story of Scheherazade. Did I say that right?
Scheherazade, right?
Yeah, because I
For
was,
me,
yeah. I'm sorry. Please
yeah,
start.
no, no, no. Do you want to finish your question?
Well, no, I was just going to say, I was going to ask you about your research process, but I would imagine a lot of it came just from your love of this story. Obviously, this is a story that resonated strongly with you.
Well, from the time I was young, I've always been intrigued by the tale of Scheherazade, and the to me the thing about that she of course that was part of the Nights, tales of the Arabian Nights and everything. But I think for me, what kind of stood out about that
Yeah.
was the idea, the power of storytelling,
Yes.
that you could sort of engage and hold your captor captive in a
Yeah.
sense by through the power of storytelling. And I was always fascinated by that, and I used to listen to, when I was 15, I remember I had a record, the old 78 records,
Uh-huh.
of the Scheherazade Suite by Whimsy Anderson, which I would listen to, and then of course I'd switch over to Inagata Davida, you know, by
Yes.
Iron Butterfly. But anyway, um, so that was one of the things that kind of stayed with me, I guess, somewhat, that
Hmm.
intrigued me. So,
Yeah. Because I
Mhm.
was wondering what it was about the story that inspired you to write the book
yeah, well,
initially.
it was that power of storytelling, that's and the other
Yeah.
thing too, a I actually have a star sapphire that belonged to my
I have one here.
grandfather. Yeah,
Yeah. I love
cool.
sapphires.
They're
Yeah.
beautiful. And
Yeah.
it belonged to my grandfather and was given to my father. And
Oh,
my mother gave it to me. And when I started kind of playing with ideas, story ideas, and getting into research,
I
one
love
of the things
that.
I looked up was where do sapphires come from? And that's when I found Myanmar, which is the country that produces some of the world's best quality gems, rubies and sapphires, and
Yeah.
specifically, and also they are one of the biggest producers of heroin in the black market.
Intriguing.
So those two elements, and I thought they would kind of make for an interesting sort of story, I guess. And I
And it
started
did.
following the thread,
I'm
and one thing leads to another and leads to another, and you know how that goes.
Sure I do.
Why did you choose not to have certain people get together? Like, why does Phoebe not wind up with, you know, the the hero? Like, what certain people fall in love, but they never get together. Like, you made certain decisions about some of the characters. Did you go back and forth on that?
On which character specifically?
Like Phoebe. Phoebe doesn't really get together with
She does with Isaac.
what?
She does get together with Isaac.
But don't they? Doesn't he leave her in the end?
No, 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 no.
I,
He lets her go. He releases her, but then at the end they get together. Of course, you have to have them get together at the
yeah.
end.
I wasn't sure about that. I was. So they are going to be together.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You
They
know where
are
my head
together.
was going at. It's like I don't care about that. It's like let's get to. I was like wrapped up with
That's
Phoebe.
that's chapter 80.
Right, yeah, like
Re-
okay, okay,
Reread chapter 80 and you'll see.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then also the other lost sapphire returns too. So,
hmm
which is kind of a nice
Yeah.
element that ties up the story too.
That was one of the things that intrigued me because I happen to as I showed my sapphire, I love rubies and sapphires. I've always been fascinated with them. And I used to work with a literary agent many years ago, and we'd have to go through manuscripts, and he said, if the person does not grab you with the first sentence, toss the manuscript and go on to the next. And I loved your opening sentence. Now, am I saying this straight? Mongkok? Is that the
Mogok.
Mokok, also known as the Valley of the Rubies, is a small township nestled between hills where pomegranates grow and mines which produce some of the world's finest pigeon blood rubies, royal blue sapphires, and other gemstones. I mean, just right off, you grabbed me with that sentence. And it
That's good.
made me want to keep reading the next paragraph and the next paragraph.
That's good.
It's like that first paragraph almost literally sparkled with
Yeah.
sensory things and
Yeah.
gemstones and sparkling and sweet pomegranates. You had
Yeah.
me right there.
Yeah, you really
Well,
felt like you. This is the thing I like about this book is that you feel like you're going to another place. The other thing I appreciated was that she had the West family tree. So
Oh,
she
yes.
didn't just create stories, she created generations and family legacies and
Yeah.
almost like family curses and revenge and I will avenge my
Oh,
father, but it
well,
goes on for like generations.
yeah.
initially I did that for myself because I
Well,
realized that it was getting a little bit complex because
uh-huh.
they're, with the different timelines going on and
Yeah.
the different characters and people. So I did
Okay.
it for myself
hmm
initially as a way to keep people kind of straight, I guess. So, as a reference. And then
Yeah.
I said, well, I should include that in the book because that way people
Yeah.
can refer to it too.
It's a
So,
nice
yeah.
touch. Yeah. It looked, my initial hit was you just did that for the fun of it more than anything because you were just so immersed in the story and having fun. But what part of the book did you find the hardest to write? What was the hardest time you had writing? Was there a part
Um,
where you did get stuck on like details like that?
well, the middle is always the hardest section.
Yeah.
So, because usually you have, I had the beginning, the opening scene and
Uh-huh.
everything, and I knew how I wanted it to end. So
Yes.
it's kind of like a roadmap. You have your starting point, and then you have your destination, so you know
Yeah.
where you're going. But
Yeah.
along the way, you have to fill in all the pieces, and how the story unfolds and the characters, and you got to bring them to life. And so it's there's a lot
Yeah.
to it, because uh, I'm doing some edits right now. I'm doing editing and some revisions on it, but because I originally wrote it in 20 back in 2018, 2019, it's hard to remember all the details of the process,
Yeah.
specifically. But
I would
yeah,
think so. Yeah, I could see the challenge there. I can see why you did that chart at the beginning of the book.
yeah,
You're something to ground yourself, to anchor yourself.
yeah.
Uh, were any of the characters in the book based upon real
That
people
was
in
going
your
to
own
be my
life? Oh,
question.
that was I'm sorry, Whimsy.
Just go for it. No, because that was the next question.
Yeah.
No, actually, they're all fictional. They're all made
Uh-huh.
up characters. If I have to be honest with myself, can I say there's little pieces of myself in some of the characters?
Uh-huh.
Absolutely.
Phoebe.
I mean, huh?
Phoebe's gumption. She got grit.
Yeah, and her that psychic quality, and even Isaac. There's little things about him, and that I can kind of feel in myself that you know, and Hennessy has that, the detective has that, a little bit of that edge to her. So
Mm-hmm.
um, you kind of, but you just, it's kind of like, when you do remote viewing, for example,
Hmm.
and you have to remain objective in a way, but you have to really be able to get into the character, even if you're creating them. And you have to be able to really, they have to be, you know, multi-dimensional, and they have to have, you know, qualities that make them human and bring
Yeah.
them to life. So it's kind of like that in a way. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you were going to put some kind of moral, because I found a lot of morality in your book, which is one of the reasons why I picked it. Um, just the moral. There's one of the things that drew me to it was ancestral wounds.
Mm.
Could you speak a little bit about that
Well,
and
I
this
think
idea
that,
that we may be responding to things that are so deep that we may not even know that we are set up because it's
yes,
so deep. Can you talk a little
yes,
bit about that?
totally, totally, yes. And it's great. And it's great that you were able to connect with that piece of the story. And that to me is one of the powerful pieces, in a way, of the ending, because there's a healing that takes place at the
Right.
ending.
Yeah.
And, we all have this
Romance.
generational
Mhm.
trauma and ancestral karma that, we carry through all.
Yes.
And I think part of our journey is to hopefully be able to see that, and then heal that part of ourself, and free ourselves from
Oh,
some of that, so we can, you know, live in a more, a, a better place of light, and
yeah.
raise our being, and live a life that's more fulfilling and more
Hmm.
authentic, instead of dragging all the baggage with us. So,
Yeah.
but,
Mm.
and I'd be curious to know what messages you guys found in the book.
Yeah.
Well, the
I,
one that was the main one I got was ancestral. You can't let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Oh, just get over it. Just get over it. And I
no, you
felt,
can't.
like the thing that really drew me, and then I said, I think that we're going to fix this book, was the fact that you cannot get over things if there's injustice. That feeling that I will have justice absolute, and when there is balance, and when true healing has happened, then I can move on. So that was what I took away. Maybe there
Yeah.
Yeah,
was more you wanted to say, but you can't really forgive if an imbalance has been created and it hasn't been righted. So that's the
Yeah.
absolutely.
wisdom
Which
I
is the whole
found in the
idea of
book.
karma.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Which you talk about in the book.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
And
was, I'm sorry.
no, no, please go ahead.
No, please. No, I was just going to, I think you may have already answered this, but I was going to ask you if you view your writing as a spiritual practice. I think that's fairly
Well,
obvious, but I don't know if you wanted to elaborate further than you already have.
I'm a very spiritual person,
I can
so
tell.
it has
And
to
it comes
be.
through in your book.
In fact, when I thought about writing this book, I asked myself, what's my intention?
Mm.
I, and my intention is to write something I would want to read, something that engaged me and held my attention, that had adventure,
Yeah.
that had romance, that
Yeah.
had
It
Yeah.
was
definitely spiritual, mystical elements to it.
Mm.
So definitely,
you know what it
absolutely.
kind of reminded me of, even though it was not erotic writing, it did kind of remind me of Anais Nin, because she did have that kind of Arabian Nights feel of magic and opium
Hmm.
dens and
Hmm.
mystery. And there is that kind of almost, it's not like sexy like it, well, it's a little romance, but I mean, it had that kind of mystery and magic and otherworldliness to it.
Yeah.
Well,
I was,
that's the also the Scheherazade factor,
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
tale of
yeah,
the
yeah.
you know.
And I get that with Anais Nin's writing also.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
used to read a lot of her when I was younger.
Yeah, I definitely felt that vibe. I was wondering if you had a section you could read for us, like maybe
Yeah.
5 minutes of the book that you felt inspired by that you would like to share with our audience today.
Oh wow.
Mm.
Um,
I
I have to
always
think
love to
about this.
hear authors read their own work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh my gosh, I have to find it. Oh,
I mean, did you want to just start at the beginning because
Well,
it's so powerful, just the beginning?
no, I think that. Hang on, I do have something in mind. I just have to find it.
Okay, all right.
Let me look at my outline. It'll help me zero
okay.
in on it.
Sure.
Um, I'm also working on a new book too,
Oh,
which I'm
great. We'll have
excited
you
about.
back again.
That was one of the things we were going to ask you later. You'll have
Yeah,
to tell us
Yeah.
more about that
yeah.
later.
Hang on, see if I can find it without taking up too much time here.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I can't find it. Not.
Hmm.
It's the one where he. Oh, there it is.
Oh, good.
Okay, chapter 13.
Chapter 13?
Chapter
Yeah,
13?
maybe you
Okay.
can go to chapter 13.
All right, we'll follow along.
And we're doing the giveaway. Yeah,
If you would like to do a giveaway, absolutely.
yeah. Let's do that. Okay.
Okay.
So chapter 13. I'm not going to start at the beginning. I'm going to start at let's see. A knock at the door interrupts their conversation. Yes, Neela says. The door opens as her personal assistant announces John Emerson is here. Recognizing the name, Neela pauses for a moment and gives Isaac a questioning look. Isaac nods, acknowledging the dark truth. That's what I wanted to tell you. A moment of silence falls between them. Send him in, Neela responds with apprehension. A moment later, John enters and Isaac introduces her. This is my sister Neela. They shake hands. Neela, that's an unusual name, John says. What does it mean? Sapphire, she answers as she leads them to the conference table. That seems quite appropriate given your line of work, Emerson states. John and Isaac sit across from each other, leaving the seat on the end open for Neela. May I offer you something to drink, Mr. Emerson? No, I'm fine, and please call me John. He sets his briefcase on the table. I must say you have a stellar reputation. Thank you, she replies. After a few minutes of making small conversation, Neela rises from the table and brings over a small case that contains a scale and a few other tools. She also set a tray containing several smaller trays of various colors on it. Let's see what you have, shall we? She says, turning to John with curiosity. He opens his briefcase and from it takes a small cigar box, which he places on the table. Lifting the lid, he removes an old white handkerchief, which upon unfolding reveals the monogrammed letters A.W. Isaac and Neela stop breathing. There in front of them are the exact 4 rubies, sapphire, and handkerchief Isaac had placed before his family that last fateful night. Lacing her fingers together to hide the shaking, she asks, Where did you get these? I've had these for a long time, he answers. A kind of trophy. In that moment, any doubt about who was responsible for their parents' death vanished. Isaac and Neela remained calm and wore their best poker face. Without another word, she picked up each stone, just as she had so many years ago, weighing it in her hand, holding it to the light. Running her fingers over the sides, it was as if she were reliving the emotions of that fateful evening, the joy of sharing with her family and the pain of losing them. But now, as she touched the stones, another emotion swelled up inside her, anger. She wanted to slap that smug expression off his face, or worse. But it wouldn't be worth it, or would it, she thought. Setting the last stone on the table, she said, The color and clarity are impeccable. My guess is 124 grams and 26 carats for the AAA rating. She put all the stones on the scale, which read 122.6 grams. After weighing each stone individually, she set them back on the handkerchief. Good guess, Emerson stated. Years of practice, Neela continued. In today's market, I'd say they would be worth between $800,000 and $2 million. John's eyebrows go up. Well, that was quite a bit more than I thought. I don't know what your intentions are for these stones, but I have a buyer if you're interested in selling them. Thank you, he paused. I'll think about it. Rewrapping the stones, Emerson returned them to the cigar box. Thank you for sharing them with us, Lena said quietly, a hint of sadness in her tone. They exchanged business cards, and as she walked him to the door, then rejoined her brother at the table. They gazed at one another silently, each with so many thoughts and emotions running through them. Suddenly, a dagger of anger came from Leela's lips. How dare you? You brought him here? This man who murdered our parents? Whose father kidnapped and probably killed our aunt? Isaac was taken aback at the sudden mention of their aunt, Amanda West. Although witnesses had seen Richard Emerson's men abduct her when she was 15, the authorities never pursued it. They too were bought off. Sadly, her barely recognizable body was discovered 8 months later. Isaac's attention returned as he reached over and took Leela's hand. I'm sorry, he said. I didn't know about the stones, that he was bringing them. I was as surprised as you. He has plans for the stones, she said abruptly. He's going to do something with them. Ah, that's why you told him you had to buy it. Any idea what he's going to do? That part wasn't clear, she said. A long silence fell between them. Then a concerned look came over her face. Do you think he knows who we are? Isaac sighed and shook his head. I don't know.
The wicked webs we weave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you had a contest. You said that you were you wanted to do, Fran.
Oh, I thought we were going to do a giveaway of a copy of the book.
Ah, yes.
Did you have somebody in mind?
Yes, we have a winner for a free reading and the book of for Fran C. Cal. You have to write me Whimsy Anderson at gmail.com, and then you get a free copy of Fran's book along with a free 30-minute reading with me. And the winner is...
Drum roll, please.
C. Mary Everett. C. Mary Everett is the winner of a free autographed copy of Fran's book along with a free reading with me. Please contact me at whimsyanderson@gmail.com. Fran, thank you so much.
Wonderful.
Yes, thank you, Fran. It was
Thank
really
you.
a pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you for letting me share.
Oh, yes.
Be part of this experience.
Oh, it's just a delight.
We'll have you back when the next book comes out.
Yeah.
And again, we want to mention that our book for the month of March, this is our book for the month of March. Michelle Rose LaRoche, your copy should be coming in the next couple days. The Wavelength of Your Pure Intention, and her second book, Equality. I'm very excited about these.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Stay where you're at, Fran. If you're trying to get in for a reading with me, you can find the information below. If you need just a quick 5-minute reading through Wizio, that information is also below. Okay, we're out of here. Chuck, you've got Chuck's Creative Captivating. What is your
Chuck's
show?
Captivating Chronicles. And I do a show on Mondays called Chuck's Captivating Chat, live 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Just talk about more general things like Hollywood, I Love Lucy, old movie star stories. You know, we have fun.
Awesome. Yeah. Sounds great. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. God bless. Peace out, everyone. And we will see you next time. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
For your love and support.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Fran.
Bye.